My custom AI assistant onboards all my clients in my web design agency. We're onboarding about 10 clients a month and the entire process is automated with AI. I used to go in, add the deal, fill out all the information, and HubSpot charge loads for automations. You have to pay like 500 quid a month to have this kind of automation functionality with HubSpot. But in Zapier is like 40 quid a month and you can do even more with it. I'm Jordan from Island Web Design and I'm going to show you exactly how we automated our entire client onboarding process, because I used to manually fill out the client in the accounting software, send them the invoice, manually fill out the contract, send them the contract, check that they signed it, then I'd send them the welcome email, the onboarding questionnaire, and then once I got that back, I'd have to go through, manually check it all and turn it into actionable items that I could turn into a website structure. But now, using Zapier and my custom OpenAI assistant, along with ClickUp, I've managed to automate this entire process. As I said, we're onboarding about 10 clients a month and the entire thing is done with AI, saving me from all the tedious tasks, and I'm going to show you exactly how we do it. All right, so let me just give you a quick overview of how the process goes. The second that a client becomes a lead and fills out the form on my website, Zapier fires up and adds them as a deal in my HubSpot pipeline. A task then gets created, notifying me that I need to follow up with the person. I always follow up with people in like 10-15 minutes, so I get straight back to the person, arrange a meeting or a call with them, and the second that I book them in my calendar, Zapier fires up again and automatically moves the person in HubSpot along my pipeline to meeting booked. Then I obviously attend the meeting or the call or whatever. As soon as I get confirmation from the client, I go into my HubSpot pipeline and I just drop them into contract sent. And from here, Zapier fires up again. Zapier literally takes the amount from the deal in the HubSpot pipeline, inputs it into the contract and sends the contract to the client and me to countersign. And from there, it halves the amount of the deal and sends that to zero so the client can be invoiced for the 50% deposit. And the second that's marked as paid in zero, they get sent their welcome email of their onboarding questionnaire. Then once they fill out their onboarding questionnaire, that gets sent straight to my OpenAI assistant via Zapier. My OpenAI assistant turns that into notes and actionable steps along with a recommended website structure, which then gets emailed to me by my GPT assistant so I can look that over and turn it into a concrete structure ready to start the design. And this part's new, but from there, a new folder gets created in ClickUp for that client with task lists for each process that we're going to have to go through to deliver the service. They get their own customer portal with all of their links, all of their subscriptions, all of the tutorials that I've ever filmed for them, just literally everything they're going to need in one place. Each task in the task list has an estimated amount of time and you can track how long it takes. So no matter whether it's you or your team that comes in, you can see that nobody's going over time, see how long everything's taken and which projects bring in the most value for the amount of time spent on them. And I'll show you exactly how I built that in the next video. We're going to lightly cover it here. Now let's get into the automations. I feel like I should probably just say here that you don't want to automate things that the client is expecting you to do. For example, at Island Web Design, if I started automating the client's website designs, they would not be happy. They've seen our ads, they've seen me in the ads, they liked me, they expect us to be building their website. So you definitely can't automate that with AI if you care about quality, which is why we're able to onboard so many clients. So you just want to automate the tedious, repetitive tasks, onboarding, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we're on my website here. The first thing we're going to need to do to set this up is make sure that we have an OpenAI assistant and an API key. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. This isn't the custom GPT store. This isn't a custom GPT. This is the OpenAI API. And I'm also assuming that you already have a Zapier account and some sort of CRM. I'm using HubSpot. I don't have affiliate links for this kind of stuff. We make money from Island Web Design, not from YouTube or Instagram. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm going to show you first how you set up the OpenAI API. So you need to come here to openai.com, but make sure that you're going to OpenAI and not ChatGPT. So go to login, and the first thing it's going to say to you is, do you want to go to ChatGPT or the API? So we're going to choose the API. And that will bring us here. Now, to be honest, I haven't explored much of this page, but the one page that I do know how to use is assistants. So I go here and I've got this assistant here. I'm going to have to blur this out. And all this is, I mean, you do edit it here. And all you guys need to do is click create. But let me just delete that one. What I will show you is just the best thing to do is actually go edit and then go test. And it will open you here where you can control everything here. So you will need to buy API tokens for this, but I topped it up with like 50 quid, 50 pounds, and I still haven't run out and I've been using it for ages. So it's not very expensive, but you do need to top it up with API tokens. So I've just given it a name. It's just called Jordan. Instructions are just, you are the head assistant for my web design and social media marketing agency. Your job is to do this. Your job is to do that. If this happens, you should do that. So I'm just giving it general instructions. If you want to see the instructions, comment below. Send me a DM on Instagram asking for the instructions. Anything like that, I'll send you them. I'm using GPT-4 1106 preview just because it has a little bit more functionality than the others. And I'm not actually using code interpreter or retrieval, although I do tend to have it on. And if I just move myself out the way here, I've just got a bit of training data, but we don't actually use any of the training data for the onboarding process. That's for something else when I'm having this thing transcribe phone calls, which I'll show you in another video. Comment down below if you want to see that video, because AI actually transcribes all of my recorded phone calls, summarizes it into meeting notes and all that straight from HubSpot. So from here, once you've given it all your instructions and all that, what you actually need to do is go into API keys, and I'm gonna have to blur these out as well, but you just want to create a new secret key, give it a name, choose what access it has and create it. And that's when you'll copy it. And now we're going to go over into Zapier. Okay, so I'm in Zapier here, and this is the very first deal flow. This is the very first flow in the onboarding process. We're not actually using AI yet, but this is fully automated, and Zapier is powered by AI, so this is the first step of the onboarding process. So what happens here is we have a new form submission in HubSpot. I'm just going to go in and actually edit this zap so you guys can get the information. So, app and event. It's HubSpot, you just want to connect your account. And the event that you want to trigger for is new form submission. So there's loads of different events here. The one that we're looking for is new form submission. If you're using Go High Level or anything like that, Zapier has over 6,000 integrations, so you'll be able to trigger a form submission from anything. If you're a developer, you can even just trigger a normal form submission by using a webhook. So you can do this with any form submission. It doesn't have to be HubSpot. And then you just want to go continue. I'll blur that out, but that's my HubSpot account connected. The trigger is basically I'm just picking which form I'm using. So I pick my Island Web Design HubSpot form, continue. And here, Zapier is going to pull some test records. So Zapier has pulled some test records. Let's find new records because those were pulled in January of one of my recent form submissions. So this was my mate that I asked to test the form. So let's just go with this one. And let's continue with the selected record. And what it's going to do from there is our next step. Find contact in HubSpot. So we just wanted to find the contact. I'm only going to run through this process once, showing you how to set up the zaps, and then from there I'll just show you what the zaps are, because there's certain technicalities and stuff that you need to get right. Like here, you need to find the contact in HubSpot, right? Continue. Correct account. We want to find them by email. So you go into here and you first search property name and just search for email. Go down and try and find contact information, email. And then here, when we click in here, we've got all the fields from the form submission in the first step. So the email that we would use is this field. I've already got that in there, but it's going to search based on the email from the form submission in the previous step. And we're not going to do a second or third search value because that's too many parameters that have to match. If the email matches, it's the right person. And then we're just going to continue. And what I'll do is I'll retest step, and Zapier will just test. It will send a ping to HubSpot. And it will come back and it will tell me Zap search was found status true, and it's found the contact Jonathan Wilson. I'm going to continue, and from there I want to create a deal. So go continue. The action is the name of the deal. I'm going to use his name from the form submission. It's in my sales pipeline. The deal stage is price requested. I'm not really going to fill any the rest of this out. We don't know how much he's spending yet. Create date should be today. I just set medium priority for all of it. Deal owner is me. This is new business. That's really it. I just continue. And if I retest the step with Jonathan Wilson, so we're in my HubSpot deals dashboard. I filter for just Jonathan, and as you can see, Jonathan Wilson, new deal has been created here. So I used to do that all automatically. I used to go in, add the deal, fill out all the information, and HubSpot charge loads for automations. You have to pay like 500 quid a month to have this kind of automation functionality with HubSpot. But in Zapier is like 40 quid a month, and you can do even more with it. So let's go back to Zapier. So that's how that works. But from there, you need to create the association. So you need to create the association between the contact Jonathan and the deal. So that's the next step. Continue. And what you want to do is you want to give the ID from the previous step of Jonathan. He is a contact, and he should be associated with a deal based on a contact to deal ID, which is the ID of this deal. Continue. Retest step. And this is going to now associate Jonathan with the deal. I go into HubSpot here and just refresh the page. And you'll see now that JW is now associated with this deal, which is another thing I used to do all myself, and HubSpot charges you loads for. So that's the first zap in the onboarding process. That's how the zaps work. Now I'm just going to show you what the zaps are, unless there's any extra complex steps. There are a couple zaps where I've written custom code and stuff, so I will show you that. Let's go to the next zap. I nearly forgot to give you my little tip/hack here, which is if you sync your Google contacts in your Apple iPhone settings on your phone to your contacts list, you can set a trigger here to create a contact in Google Contacts, and you'll automatically have this person added as a contact in your phone, which is awesome. Okay, so we're in the next zap here, and this is triggered by a new event in Google Calendar. All of these work the same way, so I'm not going to dive into these, but this is triggered by a new event in Google Calendar. It extracts their email from the calendar. That step gets skipped because most of the time I'm not adding people's emails. So then it extracts the first word, because if I've got a meeting with Jonathan, I'll just put him in my calendar as Jonathan Wilson. So it will take the first word, Jonathan, take the second word, Wilson, and it will find that contact in HubSpot with the same search method we used before. It will find his associations, which lets it find the deal, and it will move the deal stage to meeting booked. I'm literally going to show you this on my phone. Where's my phone? This is real time. That if I go into my contacts list, on my phone here, into my calendar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to book a meeting for later today, and I'm going to call the meeting Jonathan Wilson. And if we go to Zapier here, and into Zap runs there we go. It might take, by the way, Zapier polls the APIs every 2 minutes, so sometimes it can take 2 minutes. And I've had some stopped ones here because sometimes I'll book meetings that don't have any names and stuff, so they'll just get blocked. And open up Zapier, go to my zaps, and go to Zap history. It hasn't started running yet, but we should refresh the page. And as you can see, this is now playing. So if we go into this, we can actually see it happening. New event in Google Calendar, extracted the email, extracted first word, extracted second word, found the contact, found associations, found deal, updated deal. So if we go back in here now, boom, Jonathan is moved to meeting booked, which means I can just book meetings and trust that the person has been moved to the correct space in the timeline, which I used to have to do automatically, and people would always be in the wrong place. The next zap in here is really going to depend what kind of contract signing software you're using, whether you're using Xero, QuickBooks, DocuSign, PandaDoc. But this is how we do it. So when the deal stage gets updated in HubSpot, so in other words, if I just drop Jonathan into contract sent, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to send Johnny a contract, but I just drop him into contract sent, it finds the contact based on the association, and it sends him the template in DocuSign. And what it's actually doing is extracting the amount from the deal, putting it in the template and sending that to DocuSign, so the amount is in the contract. And then it only continues if, let's have a look at this step. Only continue if the deal revenue amount exists and his email exists, right? That's a conditional step in Zapier. Divide the deal amount by 2, because it's a 50% deposit we take. Create a sales invoice in Xero and send the sales invoice by email in Xero. So that is so helpful. It means I can just drop them into meeting booked, contract gets sent, invoice gets sent, bang, I don't even have to worry about it. I know it's been sent to them because the contract gets sent to me to countersign, and the invoice, a copy of the invoice email also gets sent to me, so I know it's been sent anyway. Now this next one's pretty cool because as soon as that payment is received in Xero, find the contact, find the association and deal, and then we have a conditional path, which you can do in Zapier here. So excuse me, if they're already in contract sent, update the deal in HubSpot to deposit paid and send them their welcome email with their onboarding questionnaire and their payment receipt. But if it's in closed won already, you just want to update the deal stage to say that the deal is finished and send them their goodbye email with the Facebook review link, which by the way, we have 28 5-star reviews, and I'm going to show you how I automate that process at the end, and I'll do it in more detail in a future video. So if you want to see that, make sure you comment for that. So yeah, that's what happens. The payment gets received and the correct email gets sent to the person depending on their deal stage, and then the deal gets updated in HubSpot. And that is so helpful because it means that I don't have to send a welcome email to this person, a goodbye email to this person. I'm always trying to make sure the right person gets the right email. Now I just know that it is handled automatically, and when people are getting onboarded, they're going to be sent their onboarding questionnaire straight away. Now this is where the AI comes in, because as soon as the client fills out the form and submits their questionnaire with all of their onboarding questions, the next thing that happens is a conversation with my assistant in ChatGPT. We're going to dig into this one. I'll show you how this one works. So this is how it's going down, yeah? App and event, I connect ChatGPT. I want to have a conversation with an assistant. I connect my account. This is where you're going to need your secret key. And then in the action, I am just sending a message saying we've just received a filled out questionnaire from our web design client, insert company name. And then I'm saying I would now like you to use this information in the questionnaire to draw up a structure for the website based on the context and information in this questionnaire. First, I need to know all of the relevant notes from the questionnaire, summarized into bullet points and actionable steps. Now remember, my assistant already has information about how I like to structure my website, so I've already given it context in its instructions in OpenAI, and this isn't the final website structure. I use this to be able to have actionable notes and already pre-planned structure to build on to build the final structure myself. Like I told you before, don't have AI do things that the client's expecting you to do. So then, and then I just give it all of the questionnaire information and tell it exactly what I need it to do. I pick which assistant I want to use. I pick which model. I do include retrieval and code interpreter, although we're not using it. Give it a conversation ID, which means if there was another conversation after this, because there is another step after this that we don't use anymore, where we used to send the client's current website link to ChatGPT, so ChatGPT could summarize it and then use that in its recommendations here. So there were two conversations. So you would use the conversation ID to make sure that both those conversations happen in the same thread. So ChatGPT has context about both of them. And then you just go to continue, and I'll show you what happens here. Let's go retest step. It's going to send the data to ChatGPT, have a conversation with ChatGPT and send it back. Here we go. And here's what it says. The client is located in Guernsey Channel Islands. The brand's color scheme is black and cream. By the way, I hardly put anything on my questionnaire. I just said, like, I'm in the Channel Islands, black and cream, 120,000 people. I'm going to be the biggest in the Channel Islands. That's all I said. The goal for the brand is to become the biggest web design company in the Channel Islands. The market size they serve is noted to be 120,000. The target audience is service within the Channel Islands. The brand's purpose is creating websites, and the 5-year vision is to be the biggest brand in their market. It gives me actionable steps about branding consistency, using their colors throughout the website, about the market positioning, the clarity of the service. So it's telling me they didn't give much information. You should probably go and clarify with them, which is awesome, really helpful. And a vision projection. And then from there, it gives me a proposed structure, which I will then build on. It gives me a home page, about us page, and a contact us page. The client did specify, aka me, I did specify a 3-page website. So I get that, and I'm able to build on that from there, which is so helpful for drawing out all of the relevant, actionable information from the client's questionnaire and making sure that I actually take the best of what they said. Now from there, the next thing is it will create a document in Google Docs. So this now is literally creating that document in Google Docs and uploading it into my client's folder. And then it sends me an email telling me that this new client's questionnaire has come in and it has summarized it all into actionable steps and put it in a Google Doc for me, and it gives me the link to the Google Doc. So let's check this out. So I go to retest step. Excuse me. Here's my phone. Your GPT assistant. I'm going to screenshot that and show you guys. Your GPT assistant, new structure, new website structure for Jordan at Island Web Design. And if I open up the email, just turn on my screen recording. So if I open up the email, hey Jordan, as you know, Jordan at Island Web Design has recently paid their deposit and I have just received their questionnaire. So I have taken the liberty of compiling it into a website structure for you. They mentioned they have a current website in their questionnaire also, so I took it upon myself to scrape their website and summarize the key points for you. You can find it all here in this Google Doc. How amazing is that? Now I just wanted to mention this as well because, as I said, in our Zap that sends the client either their welcome email or their goodbye email, if they get sent the goodbye email, they get sent my Facebook review link, which Facebook isn't very good at notifying people about. So what I've set up here is new recommendation in Facebook pages. So as soon as somebody leaves a review on my Facebook pages, this gets triggered. I've actually written some custom JavaScript code. So if you want to see that, hit me up either on inbox or in the comments on Instagram, comments here, inbox on Instagram, whatever, and I'll show you the code. And that code is taking the recommendation from Facebook. I'm going to actually show you how this works. So I get a new recommendation in Facebook and I run the code. I'm not going to show you guys the code, but if we retest the step, this gets sent over into my custom CMS where I'm managing all my website content in Sanity. I can go into my testimonials, and this new testimonial that comes from Facebook, let me just reorder these, reset the order. This new testimonial that's just come in from Facebook is now in here as a draft, ready to be put on my website. All I have to do is input the person's name because you're not able to access that information from the Facebook API. So that means that now, as soon as somebody leaves me a review, not only does it get sent straight to my CMS, ready to be put on my website automatically, but then I get sent an email letting me know that that's happened from my GPT assistant, just like I showed you earlier. So that is awesome, and it means that you don't lose any reviews. And we have 28 5-star reviews on Facebook because I encourage people to review and I follow it up like this. Now, the very last step here is to create the folder in ClickUp. And as I said before, this creates the customer portal with all their information, all of their links, subscriptions, everything they're going to need. And it creates actionable lists of tasks for each process we're going to have to go through to deliver the service to them with time estimates. We can track how long it takes. So no matter whether it's me or my my team that goes in and does it. I can see how long it takes, which projects are the most efficient, all that kind of stuff. And that is also automated in Zapier when we onboard a client. I'm not going to dive too much into that here because I want to cover it in the next video. So if you want to see that in the next video, make sure you hit thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, because as I said, we're onboarding about 10 clients a month. We're growing rapidly, and I'm going to be sharing all of that on this channel with you guys. So make sure you subscribe for more. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that insight into how I'm able to onboard so many clients so efficiently, which has enabled me to grow my web design agency so quickly. And if you want to see our new ClickUp customer portal, which gives our clients a place where they can log in, they can see everything in one place, the entire project is managed in one location, then make sure you subscribe for more, because in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how I built that, how it works, and in future videos, I'm going to be going behind the scenes in my web design agency and showing you everything that we're doing.